will be on Sova, Rusty Boy on Jet, WCE on Breach, and then well, we don't have the graphic up just yet, so I can't see which team is which. From the other team, either Brebeuf, excuse me, possibly, I think that's Brebeuf, is Cypher on their Senti role. They've got an Omen Mirror, a Jet Mirror, Sky, and Reyna. So a lot less defensive capabilities. They've only got the Smoke and the Cypher trips to really hold down sight, but better on attack, and they are starting on attack, so they definitely are being able to probably cement themselves a bit easier in this game itself, although from... Oh, wait, no, okay, so I did flip it, sorry. From Hobart, it has a pretty solid team for what the role, or for the side that they are on. From Brebeuf, I'd say a bit more defensive. They got the intelligence, or intel, coming from the Sova. Breach, most likely going to hold some sort of long... you could see KJ just holding down one site. Usually it is C, and that's where we see her today. Jet being a very good just duelist herself, and we do see Rusty Boy does manage to take down one. JhenFN is able to return the favor, along with Abyss able to take out one themselves. We see WCE playing upside Heaven at the moment. Nunoman is able to take one back. Abyss retrades that one out, and JXST finishes off the round, giving Brebeuf the first round overall, and giving themselves a better bye going into the second round here. Not into the bonus just yet, but they do have that going at their advantage, having that extra eco to spend. They will be taking this eco possibly into the next round as well if they manage to go flawless, but right now Hobart's role right now is just to shut them down, take as many guns away as possible, force their eco into the garbage can so that they can come back with a better round on their bonus while they all have rifles. So as we go ahead and see what is going to go down here, we see C has been majority just left open. KJ does have all of her util blocking off C generally, and Garage as well to hold down that site while not being there. We see the rest of Hobart slowly move into, or sorry, Brebeuf slowly move into the A site here. They haven't made it fully onto site just yet, but they're slowly coming out of sewage, sewage at this point. They slowly wrap back around. We see Plink able to take one out. JhenFN trades, but WCE returns the favor as well. And right now it's a 3v3, although the health of the Hobart teams is not necessarily in their favor compared to that of Brebeuf. We see For Real able to take one out as well. So now a 3v2. Spike is down. Their health, again, not anywhere near in their favor. The smokes are going to go down. Sorry, that was a blind. Goes through a link. They're just going to hold this for as long as they can as that timer ticks down. Try their best to try and get through this if they can. Hopefully, I'm assuming that they're hoping, one, to try and make a move, push out so they can even the score up. But while they both have classics, it's not really in their favor, and I'm expecting Brebeuf to take this one as well as they go ahead and save and rotate out of sight sheer shortly, giving Hobart another chance to try and come at this through Brebeuf's bonus round, and we will see what ends up happening here. Most likely just going to die to Spike to get that extra money bonus, and we are seeing that indeed. So they were able to take 2 members of Brebeuf out of this, which means it's going to hurt their eco just a little bit, but the team can most likely buy for each other just going into this bonus. They're not going to buy too heavy just so they have the eco for the next round, but what we are going to see from Hobart is a solid buy coming out from them just to hold down the fort generally, go for that natural all-rifle pick as they go into the bonus of Brebeuf, and they're going to try and take as many guns away as possible. At least that's Brebeuf's goal, because the more rifles they take away in this round, the better, and that means the longer they hold on to their guns from their bonus, also the better, because that means they get to keep their eco up into the plus, and they don't have to send it into the negatives when they buy anything in general. But we do see the Brebeuf team slowly moving into Garage here. That alarm bot is down. It is spotted, though, by the Reyna as she backs off. We see the blind able to find one onto For Real there. Nunoman getting that pick. No trades available for the Brebeuf team. That's one gun already down for them. Again, this is their bonus, so they're not necessarily suited to win this one just yet, but they are going to try their best to make that happen. One does pick up the Bulldog, giving themselves that rifle once again. And they're slowly going to start wrapping back around. Cypher staying closer to Garage to try and hold off that angle, see if anybody tries to overextend, go for a little bit of a flank. But the majority of the Brebeuf team now moving towards that A site. While it's only 2 stacked, if they do push this fast, they should have enough time to make something happen. We see the dog go out from Sky. The smoke blocks off A link, and now they're just going to try and hold this as long as they can. JXST is now planting the bomb, or planting the spike in this situation, and the smokes, both in A link and in Heaven, are able to hold this off. Unfortunate timing and an unfortunate place for the Omen to be. A solid teleport up does give them a quick pick around, evening the score up to 4-4. And now we see as JhenFN is able to clean up another one onto Dilly. It's now 4-3 with a spike down. Brebeuf, again, still on their bonus and in a good spot to hold this spike for the rest of the time. That Cam does get the info that they need, showing that one is in Heaven, although they're not paying too much attention to it. We see Rusty Boy trying to make something happen. They make one happen. JhenFN is able to find one, find 2 for 3 total. The Omen down. JhenFN makes it 4, and Brebeuf has successfully won their bonus round, taking some rifles into the next, not having to buy anything at all for the remaining members of their team, and their eco now in a very, very good spot to secure themselves these next few rounds. Sorry, I'm so used to throwing there. That was really good, though. But as we go ahead and move on to round 4 at this moment, we do see the only ult online is Reyna. Again, Reyna, not necessarily a huge game changer ult, although it does make her generally more powerful, again, giving her infinite uses of her health regen as well as fade. So we're going to see what can be used with it if they decide to pop Empress at all during this round. Seeing the smokes come out from both sides, it seems like Hobart hoping to go for, at least WCE, hoping to find a rifle early on here if that Bucky's able to make anything happen. Unfortunately, no wrapbacks around the corner. Does get the overheal that they need, securing them a pick and not securing them that rifle that they were hoping for. The smokes do go out onto Heaven here, as well as A link. A good spray sends one member of Hobart down to 1 HP, that being the Jet. And right now it's just kind of a battle. The spike is down once again. We do see that Blind is ready from the Omen of the Hobart side. They're going to try their best to hold this one as long as they can. They see the Jet go out, is immediately taken out by JhenFN. So Nugget cleans one up. JhenFN takes a second. Plink is able to find 2 up in Heaven, although it is the only remaining member, and JhenFN finishes it off for another clean 4K. Looking back now at the util that they have, not too much. No ults have come online in this situation. Not too many are on the ready and up as well, although they are getting somewhat close to some of their ults as well. I know that KJ ult could be a solid game changer for the Hobart side if Brebeuf is able to keep these plants going. And at this point, Brebeuf's eco is doing very well compared to that of Hobart, who is most likely going between a buy-save method here, just going through that rhythm of trying to hold down the fort and then losing it to the round of Brebeuf, and then going to the save again, and then going to the buy after they have built up another one from around. And hopefully that doesn't result in too much cushioning on the side of Brebeuf, but I think Hobart will eventually try to find their rhythm on defense. It is hard to get past the Brebeuf team because of how attack-sided their comp is in the current moment. But while we do see Hobart slowly going for a bit of a 2-2-1 here, they're going to try their best, but it does seem like Brebeuf does like this A site, and the majority of the Hobart side is going to try and rotate back around best they can. JXST is able to find 1, Plink finds 1, finds 2, as For Real is able to trade out as well, evening the score up to 3-3. Again, some of the members taking Heaven, that being JXST. Noodleman is able to find 1 along with Sir Nugget. Dilly is able to clean it up, making this a 1v2 situation. Not sure if they know where Omen is in the current moment, but no, he is able to clean this one up, making it a 1v1, although he does have his ult, which is most likely going to result in him going to C site, using his ult to pick up that spike, and then planting it down and trying to defend it best he can against the Hobart team, because right now, I don't know if he knows that Omen has ult, or if he's going to expect it, but once he hears it, he's going to know what that means, and then he's going to have to rotate out, but he doesn't have too much health to his name, so I think he's between 29 health, so he can be one-shot by the Vandal in this situation. Doesn't even need to be a headshot, one shot, and it is over for the Hobart team in terms of this round. And so JXST is going to try their best to try and cut off this Omen, try to find them at a good timing moment. It seems like they are doing that, and yes, there we go, another round for the Brebeuf team, sending us to round 6 and bringing the score to 5-0. going to a little bit of a timeout here. Yes, called by the Hobart side. They do have 2 ults to their name. I believe they have Sova, yes, and the Omen ult online. So if they need to use that Omen ult at all to try and rotate back around to try and defend site best they can, we will possibly see that one come out as well. But at the current moment, they've just got to try and play this one smart, play this one a little bit slower, or try to expect what... or have Hobart try to expect what they're going to do, because Brebeuf at the current moment seems to be just liking that one site. They seem to be getting to it relatively easily and then just using that same rhythm to take down the Hobart team over and over again. And so they have to use something that they learn here, that maybe that site's a little weaker, so maybe we should put our Sentinel there. Maybe we should try stacking it 3-1-1. Maybe have our Sentinel defend one site. Maybe have our Breach defend another. Maybe the Omen that they have on their team to try and put smokes up to delay them, allow for teams to rotate out. But they've got to think of a plan here soon. And as we come out of timeout, we are going to go ahead and see that their eco, I believe if we press tab here shortly, that I don't think that eco is doing all too well for the Hobart side. I don't know if they're in their save or their buy at the current moment. Looks like their save. So yeah, again, most likely going for that Bucky play. Gonna hold a corner. Hope to try and find a rifle off of it best they can. But again, what we're seeing now from the Hobart, or from the Brebeuf side, is a little bit of a default here. They're going to try and gain as much info as they can on which site seems the weakest. And as we see, it seems like Hobart now has 3-stacked the A site in general, leaving the KJ to B and the Omen to C. So like I was talking about, leaving the Omen to try and smoke out, defend a site, and the KJ just using that U-tilt to defend site as well. Spots 1, maybe going to get out in time. Yes, they do. Now wrapping around, see if they can spot anybody themselves. That smoke is going to come out early on, choking on that choke site. And now, while we do see that both Omen smokes have gone down and so they're not able to find a pick themselves, we do know that now that Omen is going to be running out of util, so they could just go ahead and decide to go to a different site, or they could just try to overextend here. We do see Blake is able to find one, same with JhenFN. Rusty Boy is able to find one, but JhenFN finds 3, looking for more at the current moment. That spike is going to go down. Omen does have ult, but just a sheriff to their name in this situation against a lot of rifles from the Breland side. So they're going to try their best to try and take this one back, but Noodleman is in a bit of a spot themselves to try and do so. With that smoke going down, it is going to give them a bit of space, but right now JhenFN is going to be their biggest target, holding off that corner, and I don't know necessarily what Noodleman is going to do, but it isn't really a buy round for them, so dying here doesn't really matter too much. See if they can find anything at all, but no, JhenFN, another 4K to their name, brings, brings the score to 6-0 overall as we go ahead and go into round number 7. Looking at the ult economy here as well as the eco, we are going to see a buy round from the Hobart side. And looking at the ult economy as well, it seems like Jet, Sova, and Omen all have their ults. And then from Brebeuf, we also have the Sky as well as the Reyna still having hers. That Sky ult, again, could give them much needed information. The Jet ult, just a decent duelist ult alongside that Sova ult is very powerful to try and knock something around. You could also use the Omen ult to try and gain info on where the Sova should shoot, but that's a little bit more tricky. Sometimes you partner that with Yoru instead, use his ult to wrap around, just kind of search for them while you can't die, ping them on the map, and then just simply shoot through the wall. A lot of them moving through sewers at this point. We see the Sky ult come out, which does spot a majority of them. They don't go in any different direction, which means they know that a lot of them are there, and they're expecting now that the Hobart side is going to wrap back around, which means that the Breland side can now wrap towards C, which is little under-defended as Omen is only watching Garage, which leaves the rest of the site generally uncontested at all. We do see that Omen is going to wrap out of Garage at that moment, Garage window. We see the Sova ult. Is it going to be able to find anybody at all? That's the question to be answered. It is seeming to be used not very well. I don't know if it found anybody. Maybe the Omen, perhaps. But we do see JXST is able to find one as the Sky somehow doesn't spot the Breach on the flank, although as Noodleman is able to find one, bringing this to a 5v4. Abyss is able to bring it back to a 4v4, Sir Nugget making it now a 4v3, JhenFN bringing it to a 4v2, and now again, while Dilly is able to find one, traded out for another. At this point, it's a 3v1, and it's just Noodleman. We see the flash go out, not full blinding, but while it isn't able to secure them the round, again, Brebeuf now taking this to 7-0, and now Again, trying their best to try and bring this one back, but they have a very heavy attack-sided comp, like I've been saying. And comparing that to the Hobart team, they've just got to try and fight against this. While they do have a better even split-out comp in general, which should be better for doing both roles, they don't really have one dedicated to one side or the other, which does give Brebeuf a slightly bigger advantage on this attacking side, which is going to give them a lot of cushioning. And then once they have that cushioning, it's just inevitable that they will eventually get one round over top of Hobart in the end if they do bring it to 12-0 in the end, but they've got 5 more rounds to try and decide that. Again, it seems like the Brebeuf side seems to be dedicating another big push to the C site, as it seems to be weaker, and as Hobart has dedicated another 3 stack to the A site, that means that leaves C relatively unguarded here, so they're going to try and hold this best they can. We do see that the Cypher, Jet, and Reyna still have their ults alongside the Jet of Hobart and the Omen of Hobart as well. The Jet has popped her ult, but nothing has been found of it just yet, and the majority of the Hobart side trying to make something happen here. We see JXST is able to find one under Rusty Boy, trying their best to hold this one down, but as that smoke goes down, it's going to be much harder for the Hobart side to push through it. They see the blind go out, but they don't really push past it. The cage from Cypher comes out, and as that timer is ticking down to the last number of seconds, it is probably just going to be a general wipe. And yes, we see Jalen and Shifaril able to secure the rest of that round, or sorry, Chill for Real, able just to send that one out and bringing this one to 8-0 overall. Ults now in economy. We just have the Breach, Omen, and KJ ult on the side of Hobart. And from Brebeuf, we've got the Cypher, Jet, and Reyna ult that have yet to be popped. It is, again, 8-0, and their eco does allow them to go for a bit of a buy round here, but again, they are just stuck in a bit of a cycle when it comes to buying and saving and buying and saving, and they're just kind of stuck in this loop until eventually they find one kind of a rhythm, one kind of momentum to try and build forward, build up on, so they can start building more eco, which gives them more time to build more momentum and over again. But as I say that, Abyss is able to take one out on the WCE early on, even though it is their buy round, just nothing comes of it. Nothing is able to be found from the Hobart side in terms of headshots, or at least that's what they were hoping for. Now as they make a dedicated push towards A, with only Jet defending it at the current moment, they are stuck in a bit of a spot. The smokes do come out from Jet in a bit of a panic, which does blind her as well. We see the Jet is able to find one. Can it find more? No. Chill for Real is able to return the favor, but Noodleman trades out as well. The Defender KJ ult comes out, which is going to force them off of the site, but there is a little bit of a spot that they could teleport to. I'm not sure exactly where the Omen is going to go. Seems like B. Plank is able to find one under Chill for Real on the flank as well. Does give them time to start moving on to site in general. Plank another one on the flank once again. The Omen, the only one to try and defend this site at all. We do see that it does scare them off of the defuse itself. He's able to find one. It scares them off the defuse again, but Dilly is able to secure the round and give Hobart their first round overall, bringing this to 1-8.
Serve my intentions.
As we move on to round number 10 of 12 of the first half, we're going to see again the ults that are online, and the ults that have been spent are the KJ ult. The Breach is still in the back pocket, as well as the Omen. And from Brebeuf, we still see that Cypher, Jet, and Reyna have theirs all to their name, ready to go whenever they want to use them. The Cypher ult, again, intel, but Cypher does need to be alive and find a dead body to use it on for it to be used. And then the Jet, again, really only needs to be used if they need to go on some kind of a save round. And as I lose my screen again, I assume it will come back here shortly. Yep, there it is. Okay. Trying their best to go off of that little breach stun. It is able to be found onto one, JXST being the one to fall in that situation. KJ is a little bit low, but Plink is able to find one, able to find two on the flank once again, bringing this to a 5v2. Solid round for them in this moment. Just weren't expecting the flank in that situation. And now they are kind of being sandwiched here off. Can they find anything at all? Going for those spray patterns as the Jet does go ahead and back off out of sight here. Trying their best to try and find something at all. The spike is claimed, but the KJ and the Omen still on that flank does put them in a bit of a pickle in terms of trying to get onto the site in general, because they can't really rotate to a different site, and they have to fight against 3 members of the Hobart side to try and get onto the site. So as we see that happen, they're just going to chill in sewers, hope to find a pick, bring this one closer to something like a 3v3 or maybe even better. They have some ults to use, but I'm not sure if they'd be best to be used in this situation. One is chilling in heaven, the rest of them chilling on site or in corners. They do see one being spotted. The blind getting ready to be used. I think it does find one. Yep, it does find one. WCE is able to get one, but JhenFN does trade out as well. And now it's just a 1v1. Again, still kind of stuck in sewers at the current moment. They are going to back off, which gives Reyna a little bit of breathing room, but that turret is going to spot her, bringing her to 13 health, now being able to be one-shot by a Vandal in this situation, and generally by anything, but I'm expecting her to just go for a bit of a save here, try to force, or try to get as much util as they can in this situation. This is going to give Hobart another round, which does build their eco in general. Of course, with them still having 4 members left alive, their eco is not going to take very much of a hit, but with Brebeuf having won 8 rounds in a row, their eco is also in a very good spot, although it is diminishing here shortly, so they are going to eventually have to go to a save if they keep losing rounds like this. But if they go back to winning a round here and there, their eco should be fine, because at the current moment, I'd say they have enough to force by at least 2 more rounds before they have to go for a save, just based on what their eco is looking like right now. But Hobart, if they lose this one, probably can buy for the next, but then they also probably, if they lose that, cannot buy for the round prior, or the round past it. So they're going to try their best to try and hold this one down with the rifles that they have. Again, the ults are still online, have not yet to be used. Breach ult, not sure where it's going to be used in general, but it seems like Reyna is scoping it out, trying to find as much intel as she can, while the rest of the team defaults towards mid. Jett just chilling in the corner here. The dog is going to go out, but prematurely shooting it without being spotted does let them know that Jett is stuck in that corner at the moment. Does get blinded by the Reyna. Can they find them? Yes, they can. JhenFN able to find one under Rusty Boy early on in this one, giving them a much-needed pick to bring this one forward. Cypher could use that dead body to gain the intel needed to try and target a site in general. If they do use that, they would realize that A is particularly weak compared to B, although B can be reached by the remaining defenders of Hobart pretty fast. But as we see, Brebeuf slowly wrap around towards the A or B site. They're going to try their best to try and take this one, Sova being the only one remaining there. The smokes are going to fly towards a short, or a connector and a heaven, so they're going to try their best to hold this one down. Jett is taken down a little bit of health by that mine, or by that shock dart. Abyss is taking one onto Noodle as well, as we see one ult come out. Chill for real is able to find one, find two. It's just a 4v1 in the situation for Sova, so I'm not sure how they're going to play this one out, but they do have the ability to save if they need be. But I'm not entirely sure which one they're going to go for just yet, because maybe they have the money to go for another one, and maybe they could try and take out anything while the rest of them are focusing on heaven. You are going to see one fall as the rest of the team isn't focusing on it, but SirNugget is able to clean up, which brings this one to 9-2, as I believe we go into final round. Yep, here we go. So last round. So both teams, I believe, do have enough money to go for a full buy here for, again, like both sides. Seems like it. They don't have enough for, looks like, full armor, but they do have enough for just a general full buy. Could go for an op if they feel like it, but an op on attack is much worse than an op on defense, especially with C long. So a little bit harder to hold, but we will see what ends up going down as we go into this last round. This will either bring us to the 9-3 curse or the 2-10 in general. We'll see what ends up happening here. Again, still 2 ults on the side of Hobart and 3 on the side of Brebeuf. So we're going to see what ends up happening here. I expect all of them to be popped this round, because it's the last round, why not? But other than that, they're going to try their best to try and take this one and not bring themselves to that 9-3 curse. It seems like they're defaulting towards mids again, trying to find some kind of a weakness for them to take point on. The dog or the flash at the ready, see if they can spot anybody. A lot of the team is able to be focused down. Dilly is able to find one. The dog is able to find one as well, but Dilly is able to clean up 2. We see the Sova ult go out. Teleport is not in time, as Blink is able to find one as well. We see WCE is low on health, but does get out of there in time, and it seems like Hobart is in a bit of a spot to try and take this one back in this situation. They'll try their best, I'm sure, but they've got to find a lot of 1v1s that they've got to win to try and bring this one back around. And as Hobart slowly wraps back around to take sites and defend them best they can, as the rest of the Brebeuf side is trying to hold down this B point as best they can. They do find a 1v1 finally, but doesn't make anything happen because of it. They still don't have anything that Cypher ult can be used on to gain intel, and they're just kind of stuck outside of B main best they can. Well, the rest of Hobart slowly pushes onto site here because they are running out of time and they know they've got to pick a site now. But it seems like they are dedicating to a quick garage pick, but that is going to give Dilly a 4K as they do not check their corners, giving them the 9-3 curse as we move on to the side swap, putting Brebeuf on defense and Hobart on the offense here. We'll see what they make of this, see which sides are able to find the weakness faster and which side is able to take this pistol round, because right now, if Brebeuf is able to take this pistol round, that will most likely give them enough eco to take the round prior, and then that will bring them up to 11 and 3 if I'm expecting anything, and then they will go into the bonus, which they may or may not win, bringing them to 12, and then depending on the state of the bonus, they may be able to just sweep from here on out if they're able to make what happened the first time around in the defending half happen in the attacking half. So we'll certainly see what ends up happening here, but as we go ahead and slowly get into this, we're seeing a quick 2-1-2 stack between the C, B, and A sites, and the majority of the Hobart side is seeming to rotate towards C, which is 2 stacked, which is a better case scenario than having it be 1 stacked. And while they have the smokes as well, I'm expecting Jet to slowly dash on the site here. Nothing has really comes of it though, but they do gain site control pretty fast here. They are going to get spiked down here shortly, and the rest of the team slowly is going to be picked off outside of the site itself. They're going to try and find some kind of a way to move on to site best they can. Is able to get one, but teleporting into the smoke as the Jet expects it, takes one out. Rusty Boy is able to find one, so does Plink. JhenFN is able to find one. Zero Biss does as well. Noodleman finds one as well. It's a 3v2. Are they able to keep this one alive? The time is ticking down. They got to fight this one best they can. It seems like they're pushing outside of garage and back towards C main. Haven't spotted anybody just yet. They see the Omen up top, not able to secure that kill, and Rusty Boy is able to clean up the round as well, bringing this to 9 and 4 in total, and giving Hobart the eco to possibly take the round prior, or the round past it. Excuse me, I'm very tired. So yeah, looking at the eco here, it seems like Brebeuf going for a bit of a half buy, just kind of buying for next at this point. And then from the Hobart side, again, the Brebeuf side is not buying at the current moment, and the Hobart side obviously going for their half buy after winning that round before they move into their bonus. So only classics on the side of Brebeuf. And they seem to be going for a little bit of a 4 stack, but the rest of them do seem to be moving out of the site they were stacking now, as we see a little bit of a default from the Hobart side as they have yet to pick up Spike, just trying to gain info here on a majority of the map that they do control before they move up and take Spike and decide to hit a site. And the rest of the Brebeuf side seems to be doing something similar. Again, a lot of them taking as much space as they can on the sites that they control, trying to deny a push from the Hobart side. And as they decide to finally make a push towards the A site, they are just looking towards sewers and towards a long best they can to try and find anything happen here. And as we see a lot of the Brebeuf side now slowly move off, I'm wondering if the Cypher made a fake, or not a fake claim, but an incorrect claim, thinking that they heard somebody or saw somebody. But it is seeming like Hobart does have pretty good reign of the site in general. We see, unfortunately, Sir Nugget not able to make anything happen off of that corner camp little angle hold there. Spike is going to get put down. We're seeing that now they're just going to hold corners best they can. Plink is able to find one as well, bringing this to a 5v3. Plink able to find yet another kill as well. And now the rest of the Brebeuf side is slowly running out of people as well as guns to make anything happen. Rusty Boy cleans up one, and Dilly finishes off the round, bringing this to 5 and 9. And again, this is what I was expecting. We saw the full-on attacking prowess from the Brebeuf side because of their comp, and now the Hobart side, which is a little bit better on doing both attack and defense, seems to be doing very well, as Brebeuf doesn't have too much to defend sites with, and just seeming to be allowing them to take control of site without contesting it, because they just don't have too much util to use to try and push them back. All they've got are the smokes and the trips, but that's not enough between 3 sites, so they've got to try and make something happen here shortly, and we'll see what that thing is here very shortly. Cypher seems to be holding down the C site all by his lonesome, while we do see Sky holding Garage as well as Omen being close nearby. A 2-stack on A as Reyna holds Sewers and Jet seems to be holding Heaven. So they've got a bit to work with, and it seems like a little bit of a 2-3 stack between C site and mid. So as they push through Garage, we are going to see the blind go out from the Omen, although nothing is going to come of it. They're going to try and push past that Garage window best they can. Cypher now having to contest against Rusty Boy on high ground, is not able to make anything happen, and the smoke on back site is able to give them again the full site control that they are looking for to try and plant this spike, and they do end up getting it down. And now we see a lot of the Brebeuf side slowly wrap back around, regroup together, see if they can make anything happen on the Hobart team as they try to push back onto site here. But with the smokes going down, they've got a lot that they've got to work towards. The dog from Sky ends up coming out, doesn't find any util, we're not sure just yet. But a lot of the team is now slowly pushing onto site. SirNugget able to find one. Rusty Boy finds one as well. SirNugget finds 3. Are they able to keep it going? It's a 1v2, but no, WCE finishes off the round, bringing this one to 6 and 9. Seems like a little comeback from the Hobart side at the current moment. Again, that 9-3 curse that we all know of, trying to work their magic, try to bring this one back around. And they do have the eco to do so, but again, Brebeuf does have that cushioning still to their name, and 3 rounds of it to be exact. Although with no ult still online from either side, they don't have too much util to work with other than what they've got in terms of initiation into these fights, and Jet seems to be doing a fantastic job of doing so, getting onto site very fast. And now as we see that Hobart is going for what looks like an A push compared to what Brebeuf is defending, that being 1 on C, 3 on B, and 1 on A. So right now they are a little understacked in terms of where the Hobart team seems to be attacking, but a lot of them are going to go ahead and rotate as they hear a lot of noise from Sewers, from the Jet callouts, and a lot of them on A long as well. So smokes are going to fly, they're going to see what they can be blocked, and as Noodleman doesn't check his corners, is going to fall. JhenFN able to find one as well. SirNugget bringing this one to a 2v1 in this situation as Plink finds one into SirNugget as well, bringing it just to be the Cypher remaining. That spike is down, so at the current moment, he does have time to work with, but all he's got in his pocket is a classic, so it's not too much. Then Dilly is able to finish off the round, bringing this to 7 and 9 against the Brebeuf team. They're trying their hardest to try and, in my opinion, fight as hard as they can, but again, they just don't have util that's necessarily great for defense. They've got the Cypher, but the Cypher, even when they hit Cypher site, hasn't really been able to slow them down all too much, because he's been putting his trips not necessarily on site, but in little situations or in little holes where he expects, I think, Jet to dash. Which is kind of hurting them a little bit because it doesn't slow them down from the push, and it doesn't slow the Jet down at all in general. So it's allowing the Hobart team to just make presence on site really fast, and Brebeuf just doesn't have enough time to respond to it because most of the time they don't try to contest it, they just back off of site and give them control, which is something that is okay if you've got the manpower to contest it, but not necessarily when you're not using your attacking util to try and retake site, and you're not really expecting players to be where they are, you're not checking corners, you're not really doing this and that, you're not using your util to hold down this site harder than you are, and maybe stacking is the answer and retaking site in a round maybe once, like stacking a 3-2, leaving one site open. But as we see, Hobart slowly moving towards Garage here, and the rest of the Brebeuf team allowing that defense of Garage to be held relatively tight, along with that Cypher trip. It does go down, but not too much will come of it. They are going to slowly move back towards B here, which currently is uncontested. There are a few members that can rotate in really fast, but as we see the Jet go in and take space, as well as the smokes go down, blocking most off, it is going to give them full control of site. We see Chill for Real able to take one down onto Plink. We see Empress get popped as well. Rusty Boy is able to find one into Zero Abyss, but JhenFN returns the favor. Dilly finds one. Chill for Real finds another. SirNugget finds one as well, and now it's a 2v1 with Spike down. Just the Breach alive. Doesn't have his ult to contest it, does have stun in a few seconds, but not necessarily sure what they're going to expect here because they don't really know where the Breach is in the current moment. They're going to go ahead and half it, but that is going to take them at the cost of their life. That smoke, or that flash is going to go down, takes him a few hits. Right now he's just trying to buy time best he can. He's just going to keep faking this one, and eventually they are going going to have to make something happen. Get stunned by WCE, and what a clutch from the Hobart breach in that situation. Well played, just kind of baiting out the spike. I don't know if having it was a good thing to do at the cost of your life, because now you lose the manpower that you have over top of the breach, and you lose the ability to watch while somebody else diffuses. And in this situation now, as it comes to 8 and 9, we're seeing the dominance from Hobart as the #1 siege finally coming back into action here and showing that their dominance is what Brebeuf should be a little bit frightened of, in terms of that both teams seem to be able to take these dominant forces over top of the scoreboard itself. And right now Hobart has been put in a situation where they are slowly winning these rounds back to back to back, and being put in the situation that Brebeuf was earlier on. We see the KJ ult go out, although it doesn't block all of sight, interestingly enough. It forces the Brebeuf side to back up, but it gives them a lot of room still to work with. And if they don't take that space right now, they are going to be put in a little bit of a spot, although they do end up taking sight relatively fast. And while Brebeuf doesn't really have the guns to try and contest this, they're going to try their best to do so. Spike, again, is going to go down. There have been no deaths just yet, but they are trying their best to find one. JhenFN is able to find one on the Noodle Man, taking one rifle out. Rusty Boy able to find one as well. Can JhenFN find any more? Not at the current moment. Finds one. There goes one. Jet is able to return the favor. This is now a 3v2. Rusty Boy still has a solid amount of health with their name. We find one, find two from Plink, and that brings the score to 9 and 9 in this best of 3 series. And right now, Hobart seems to be sending this one off with a bang. They're just going to try and keep this one going, and that 9-3 curse seems to be ever more prominent. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, I need like water or something. So they're trying their best to hold the line down, but at this point, Hobart does have a lot of eco to their name to be used, and Brebeuf is now put in that situation that Hobart was in earlier, where they're just going from buy to save to buy to save to buy to save. They're not really forcing any rounds, so they're just going to take rifles and then lose rifles and then take rifles and then lose rifles in hopes to win a round. But as we see, Chill for Real is able to find one and then dash out. Finds two onto the Omen as well, as Plink finally returns the favor on the Chill for Real. But in this situation, they are now down 2 compared to the 1 that it took. So while they only have the Omen or the Sova ult to their name compared to the Cypher ult from Brebeuf, they've got to try and fight this one out best they can. We'll see what ends up happening. We do see that Cypher ult come out as well, as the Brebeuf side slowly rotates around to where they are spotted. Seems to be Garage at the current moment, and the Brebeuf side slowly rotates back around, but that does leave B a little bit open, although the Cypher Trip and Cypher himself are still there and waiting. A is available to be rotated back towards, which seems to be what they are doing, with the breach wrapping back towards a long. Cypher can go contest this if he's got enough time, but I think he hasn't spotted anything just yet, so he hasn't called it out, but it is going to slowly be spotted if he checks his camera one more time here, if he stops holding that wall. We'll see what ends up being spotted here. I think it finally said, okay, now we spotted him, but actually, no, not just yet. They haven't. There we go. Now he spots him. Shows the rest of the team they need to rotate back towards A. Spike is going to go down. Goes into the corner. The rest of the team slowly moving back in. We see the smokes go down. Flash goes out. It finds one, but unfortunately didn't try to make anything happen from it. We do see that breach go through the wall, try to find something. Abyss finds one. JhenFN finds one. Blink is able to find one, find two. Can they find more? No. JXST finishes the round, and Brebeuf is back on the board, shutting down the Hobart assault, which now brings the score to 10 and 9.
Don't even start that shit here, mate.
Moving on into the next round here. They do have a bit better eco in their back pocket, Brebeuf does, so against Hobart, who does have a lot of money still to work with in terms of losing a round. It's not a huge deal, but we are going to see a timeout be called from the Hobart side, so we'll get back to that in just a little bit of a minute here. But I think these teams are playing very well. Again, this is the #1 versus the #2 seed, so these are expected to be a relatively big clash against these two titans, and we are showing that right now between these two games. So they're trying their best to try and fight this one out, but it's very difficult when both teams are very good, because it just comes down to who makes the first mistake and then who can exploit that best. And so as we go ahead and get back into game here in about 10 seconds, we're just kind of waiting to see what team is able to overcome their challenges, find the find the victory that they're fighting for, and then as we go into game 2, we might see some kind of a reverse in terms of who wins, or we could just possibly see another 2-0, but anything is on the table here, and we still have a lot to go in terms of this game, so we'll see what ends up happening here. But as we go ahead and get into game, I believe here shortly, it should have been a minute by now, there it is. So yeah, so looking at the ult economy here now, we've got the Jett and the Sova having their ult, Omen has theirs from the Brebeuf side. Not too many other ults are available, but again, the Hobart side still just has that better util to work with in terms of getting onto site. Excuse me, especially with the Jeff I keep saying Jeff, with the Jett as well. Sorry, I play too much Rivals. But they're going to try and fight this one out, try to find as much intel as they can. They just jump peeking into B main, see if they can't spot anybody. That Cypher trip is there, along with the Jett trying to gain as much intel on A long as well as sewers as they can, and they seem to be going for a bit of a 2-2-1 stack, although a majority of them are still very close to being able to be rotated out whenever they need be, because they're not playing too far deep into site, and they can rotate whenever they feel like it at this moment. So we'll see what ends up happening here. They are playing a little bit of a slow game here, already down to a minute. They are going to see, we are going to see the Sova slowly make a little bit of a push onto Garage here, try to gain as much info as he can. I'm sure that Cypher hears him jumping around and is probably calling that out to the rest of their team, as we see Omen rotate back around closer to Garage, same with Sky. And so right now, that does leave B a little bit open, but again, Cypher's still there at the ready, same with Reyna, and Jett will be there shortly as well. So we're going to see where they're ending up being able to fight this one out. It's going to be somewhere close, but I'm not expecting it anywhere other than, yep, B at this current moment, because again, with 30 seconds left, it's the closest site to them. We see that Cypher trip go down, as well as what looks like a Cypher cage blocking them off. JhenFN, a nice kill onto Dilly early on there, is going to shut down the push a little bit well here. We're seeing the Jett try their best to make their way onto site. We do see one go down, Zero Abyss finds one, finds two, and 12 seconds left. Not too much being able to be done. Plake finds one as well as Sir Nugget, and with 7 seconds left in sight, and Spike being on the ground, that is going to give Brebeuf the much needed win for that round, bringing this to 11-9. On the side of Brebeuf, they seem to be finding their rhythm once again, trying to shut down Hobart best they can. And again, now Hobart seems to have 3 ults to Brebeuf, still 1, although Brebeuf is coming up on a few here shortly with Sir Nuggets, as well as Zero Abyss is coming in close, and a lot of the Hobart ults are nowhere near being ready. So might be a little bit, we may not see those for the rest of the game, but we do still have Hobart and Brebeuf having their ults close and ready to go. And as they make a, looks like a decent push towards the C site, although it is triple stacked compared to what Hobart is trying their best to do, with Cypher still holding down Garage and the 2 members of Brebeuf trying to gain as much info as they can. We see the smoke go down, that flash, able to find a bunch of people. We do see the Jett go for a little bit of dash on the site. Are they able to find anybody? They find one. Does the Omen know that they're on the site? I'm not sure. Oh, finds one. Can they find more? Finds 2 before they are traded out, bringing this to a 3v2. Only the Sova ult to their name. We see the Reyna try to find something, finds one, goes for a little bit of a fade out. That dart doesn't find anybody at all, but he knows that they're there, as well as the one in Garage. Chill for real, still trying to fight this one out, as well as the Reyna. Does get blinded. Are they going to find him? They do. Chill for real now in a 2v1 against the Omen. Is able to secure that one for Brebeuf once again, bringing this to 9-12.
Oh, was that important?
And now as we move into possibly the final round, this one being match point. We'll see what ends up happening here as they try to fight this one out. We could possibly see an overtime, but right now Hobart does not have a lot of eco. It's unfortunate. They went ahead and bought last round, and they're going to have to try and force this one out, which means they're not going to have too many shields to their name compared to the full buy that Brebeuf is on, giving them a very good shot at holding this one down. And we see a majority 5-stack towards the A site, along with a good 1-1-3 sort of. It's more like a 1-2-2 in the current moment, but we'll see what they end up doing here, if they're able to find anything at all. The smoke goes down towards A long, as a majority of them push sewers and A long. See what they can end up doing. The KJ Mine does go down, trying to find anybody behind the boxes there. Most likely going to see Jet try to dash on a site, find some space quickly early on here. We see the breach go out. One is not able to be found just yet. The stun goes out as well as the flash. They know that they're there, but they're not able to make anything happen from it. Reyna sitting up in heaven, trying to make something happen at this current moment. Can they find anything at all? The blind is surely to come out soon enough. A lot of ults still at the ready to be used from the Hobart side, but nothing has been made just yet. JhenFN finds one. Sir Nugget finds one as well. Noodleman is able to trade one out, but now it is left to a 4v3 in this current moment, and only 2 ults remain. Noodleman is in a bit of a spot, but a good ult from Breach gives them much needed space to work with. Plink is able to find one. JhenFN finds one, finds 2. It's just Sova who uses his ult, and now he's going to have to push onto site, although the timing goes in the wrong direction, although there it is, and Brebeuf is going to take game number 1, 9-13.
Never come back. I will take you.
But yeah. Oh, wow. Is it really? It's 12:48? Okay. But yeah, so a decent game overall between these two. I liked what we saw from Brebeuf in that situation. They saw that Hobart was slowly finding their rhythm, but Brebeuf's kind of found the flaws in their gameplay style and slowly started working around it. They started stacking sites a bit more, not allowing them to really take sites as fast, and they were using their util a lot more aggressively to retake site rather than trying to use it to slow them down and then not having it when they needed to retake. And they were playing a lot more passively against the Hobart team. And while Hobart was trying their best to get into site relatively fast, especially with the jet dashes, in the end, it just kind of came down to who was able to hold the site longer and who was able to take the site faster. But in the end, it was Brebeuf that was able to do so. And we are going to go ahead and throw to a very quick break, although it may not be too quick as these teams slowly work around how fast they can get into the next lobby, into the next game. But we will see you there very shortly, and don't go anywhere.